This is Yiheng Wang, and he's just broken the single greatest barrier in speed cubing's history. But for some reason, he doesn't even look phased. Is it because he's been gradually slicing off fractions of a second for 2 years? Is it because he's broken the barrier an uncountable amount of times unofficially? Is it because Sub 4 has been one of the most overdue barriers in speed cubing's history? Or maybe he knows something that the rest of us haven't quite realized yet. That we're entering the weirdest, most confusing era speed cubing has ever seen. We've become so numb to Yiheng breaking world records that we start to forget actually how significant this really is. The hunt for Sub 4 has been a long and lonely road, because it's been 2 years since anyone besides Yiheng Wang has broken the 3x3 world record average. All the way back in 2022, Timon Koloshinsky finally broke through the Sub 5 barrier, getting a 4.86 average. Then, only a couple months later, Max Park tied it with a 4.86 again. And then, well, Yiheng Wang happened. Yes, other people have come relatively close to Sub 4, but Yiheng got so close, so often, that it started to feel inevitable. So when Yiheng finally does this, no one was even surprised. Wait, what if that's the problem? We've gotten so used to Yiheng breaking records that we've stopped asking how he's doing it. Because here's what makes this record important. It's not just fast. It's fast using CFOP. And that changes everything. For the past few years, it's felt like cubing was shifting. Zebula was on the rise. Solving the last layer in one algorithm removed the pause. The trend was clear. New cubers leaning into ZB approaches. Meanwhile, some of CFOP's biggest names, Max Park, Luke Garrett, Madi Hiroto Inaba, they've started to slow down. Not because CFOP was suddenly worse, but because their improvement had slowed. That's what makes Yiheng such an outlier. Because while everyone else slowed, he kept improving. And improving, and somehow, he's still not done. When most people thought CFOP would peak, Yiheng kept going. So how is it that Yiheng got the fastest average of all time using the method you probably learned as a beginner? Okay, so now I'm going to break down some of his solves from a 391 average. I'm just going to show you a few moments that really just shows how much Yiheng is pushing CFOP. Like, some of these decisions are just on another level. So on the second solve, he has some pretty crazy X-cross stuff, but what I found really significant here is that right before he finishes the X-cross, you see he's about to do a D and then an R, but instead of doing that R, he does a U2 to set up this 3-move insert, and then he just does the R, and then he just does the 3-move insert. Now, the crazy thing of this solve is that after he does the 3-move insert, he rotates and then does this multi-slot that is just really crazy. I've noticed after watching a few of these solves that he's gotten really good at multi-slotting and creating free pairs. So he just does a U2 and then sledges to create this 3-move insert for the red-green pair. But then also when you do that, it solves this blue-red pair too. So he inserts this while solving that, and then just inserts that. Okay, on this fourth solve, he does something that I doubt only a handful of people would find. So he figures out how to make an X-cross on the scramble, which the scramble does not look like an X-cross scramble. I mean, there's this red-green corner right there, but that's not really much to work off. So what he does is he uses this pair to make an X-cross. So he does a U, and then aligns this corner with the edge by doing an L, and he does a D prime to put the red and the orange corresponding to each other, and then before he does this R prime to put that right there, he does a U2, which was probably the craziest move of the whole solve, because he aligns this where it needs to go, so then he'll just do a B2, but then also he aligns this corner with his corresponding edge right there, so then it'll be a free pair later, which is just crazy how he does this. And then he does a B2 to insert that into there, and then what you would think he'd do now is just do a R prime DR, and he kind of does, but before he finishes it, he sees that if he does a U prime and then finishes it, he'll get this 3-move insert right here. Then he just solves this pair pretty standardly with F moves. And then this is where it gets crazy, because you see there's 2 3-move inserts right now. You think he'd do this one, but he doesn't, because in order to do that one, you have to do a U prime and then do it. So it's like a setup move. But for this one, the green-orange pair, there's no setup move for it. So you can just go straight into doing that one. Then he does that, and then he just rotates and does this pair like so. So yeah, I really don't think there's another CFOP solver on the planet that can do the kind of stuff he does. Hear me out. We are in a golden era of CFOP right now, with Yiheng getting world record after world record after world record. And as you probably already know, me and a lot of other cubers have been teaching a concept that in theory, at the peak of each method, ZB is better for averages and CFOP is better for singles. But right now, that could not be more irrelevant, because the average is held by a CFOP user, and the single is held by a ZB user. So if theory says one thing, Yiheng's execution says something else. It's not that CFOP is outdated, it's just that no one else is doing the same thing Yiheng is. Every new world record average, CFOP. Every time, it's him. Yes, there are other elite CFOP users. Yufendu is literally ranked 3rd in the world right now. But no one else has shown that CFOP can drop below a 4.5 average. This is why this average matters, because maybe this was never supposed to happen. Maybe sub 4 was never meant for this method. It's not just the fact that Yiheng is ahead of the curve, it's the fact that he's dragging the entire method into the future faster than anyone ever thought would be possible. Sure, CFOP will reach sub 4 someday, but Yiheng isn't waiting for someday. He's forcing it to happen right now, proving that maybe, just maybe, execution beats theory. Dropping the fastest solves in human history with cross, F2L, OLO, and PLO. Here he is, proving that the future isn't just in switching methods. Maybe it's about mastering the one you've got such an insane level that no one can touch you. CFOP didn't get better, Yiheng did, because the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Anyways, that's a wrap, guys. See you in the next one.